I still can't believe we made it out alive. My name is Jake, and what I'm about to share with you still haunts me. This isn't just a story, it's the truth about a road trip that turned into the most horrifying experience of my life. Ryan and I had been best friends since high school, and this trip was our way of escaping the grind of city life. A weekend in the mountains, camping under the stars. What could go wrong? We packed up my Jeep early Saturday morning. The drive started perfectly, smooth roads, beautiful scenery, and the kind of conversations you can only have with your best friend. As the sun dipped below the horizon, we decided to keep driving to make up more ground. That's when the fog rolled in. At first it was thin and clung to the ground, but soon it became dense, swallowing the road and everything around us. I slowed the Jeep, my headlights barely cutting through the haze. Ryan frowned, studying the map. We should have hit a turnoff by now. Are we on the right road? I nodded, though doubt gnawed at me. We probably missed the sign in the fog. Let's just keep going. The road stretched endlessly ahead, flanked by dark, towering trees. That's when we saw her. She appeared suddenly on the side of the road, standing still. "What the hell?" Ryan muttered. I slowed down as we approached. It was a woman, wearing a tattered coat, her back to us, facing the woods. Her long hair hung limply around her shoulders. She didn't move, didn't turn, just stood there. "Do we stop?" Ryan asked, his voice uneasy. "No way," I said, my gut screaming to keep moving. As we passed, I glanced in the rearview mirror. She didn't move, didn't even look at us. She vanished into the fog as the Jeep carried us away. "What was she doing out here?" Ryan asked, his voice breaking the silence. "Maybe her car broke down," I said, though something about her didn't sit right. About 20 minutes later, we saw her again. Same woman, same coat, same unnerving stillness. Ryan stared, his face pale. "That's impossible. We've been driving this whole time. There's no way she could have gotten ahead of us." I didn't respond. My hands tightened on the wheel as I pressed the gas, speeding past her. The fog thickened further and the road seemed narrower. Then we saw her again. This time she was in the middle of the road. I slammed on the brakes, the Jeep skidding to a halt just a few feet from her. She stood motionless, facing us now, her head tilted at an unnatural angle, her eyes dark and lifeless. "What the hell do we do?" Ryan whispered. Before I could answer, she moved. She didn't walk. She glided as though her feet weren't touching the ground. One moment, she was in front of the Jeep. The next, she was at Ryan's window, her face pressed against the glass. Her lips moved silently, forming words we couldn't hear. Ryan screamed, scrambling away from the window, and then she was gone. "Drive!" he shouted. I floored it, the Jeep lurching forward. The forest around us seemed alive, the trees twisting as if reaching for us. Then, the Jeep stalled. "No, no, no," I muttered, turning the key repeatedly, but the engine wouldn't start. Ryan grabbed the flashlight, the beam shaking as he aimed it into the darkness. "She's out there," he whispered. The silence was suffocating, and then we heard it. A soft tapping on the back window. I turned slowly, my stomach churning with dread. The woman was crouched on the roof of the Jeep, her pale face upside down, staring at us through the rear window. Her mouth stretched into an unnatural grin, revealing jagged, yellowed teeth. Ryan flung the door open and bolted, and I wasn't far behind. We ran blindly into the forest, branches tearing at our clothes and skin. Behind us, we heard her, not footsteps, something worse. A dragging sound like wet fabric being pulled across the ground. "Don't look back," Ryan yelled, but I did. She was right behind me, her hollow eyes locked onto mine, her clawed hands reaching out. We ran until our legs burned and our lungs felt like they would burst. Finally, we stumbled onto another road where a truck driver found us. The Jeep was never found, and sometimes, late at night, when I'm driving alone, I see her, standing on the side of the road, waiting.